we start with the NFL draft and one team in particular. The team all the experts are saying had a bad draft, the Green Bay Packers. I won't go that far, but I do believe the Green Bay Packers and all NFL teams, they tell you what they think of their roster. They tell you what they think the direction should be, and they tell you what they think of their quarterback. Teams will tell you what they think of their quarterback in the draft. If he's immobile, more offensive linemen. If he's got a big arm, more skill people, Kansas City. Let's be honest. Baltimore has told you what they think of Lamar Jackson. The running's better than the passing. Tight ends, running game, defense, keep scores lower. That's how we think we can win Super Bowls as he develops as a passer. So Green Bay, and I'm not going to say they had a bad draft. I think you'll be surprised by the end of this segment who I think had an awful draft. But Green Bay did tell you what they think. Not only with their first-round pick in a good division with Minnesota, did they draft a quarterback who won't play for 3 years. Not only did they draft a running back with their second pick, and then 3 of their next 4 picks were interior offensive linemen. They also did not draft a wide receiver. And what is it saying? The new coach, remember Aaron Rodgers wanted a new coach. Aaron, who's passive-aggressive and has struggled in relationships with coaches, with family. These aren't my opinions. This stuff's documented. Multiple family members. Coach McCarthy. Teammates have come out. Articles written. Not my opinion. This stuff's out there. He wanted a new coach, and the new coach is saying, I'm not building around Aaron. We're building around a running game. The new coach is building an offense that's going to look a lot like the San Francisco 49ers. Multiple sets, heavy reliance on running the football and setting up play-action passes for Jimmy Garoppolo / Aaron Rodgers. So you bailed on the last coach and you got a new coach. And guess what? He didn't want to build around you either. Last coach was more about building around you. This guy's like, no, I'd rather you be Jimmy G than Patrick Mahomes. And you know what else Green Bay was saying by not drafting a wide receiver? 30-some wide receivers were drafted. Green Bay, everybody says they need one. You know what Green Bay's front office is saying in Matt LaFleur? Russell Wilson doesn't have anybody nearly as good as Davante Adams. He's fine. He makes everybody better. Russell Wilson doesn't have anybody as good as Davante Adams. And he doesn't. And he keeps getting to the playoffs every year. Carson Wentz doesn't have anybody as good as Davante Adams. But Wentz and Russell Wilson make every tight end and every wide receiver work. Wentz last year took deck furniture and lawn chairs to the playoffs. And Green Bay's saying, no. Davante Adams is better than anybody Carson Wentz has, anybody Russell Wilson has. And they're going to the playoffs. We got Alan Lazard. We got Marquise Valdez-Scantling, got you Devin Funchess. That's enough. That's enough. You don't need any more. Russell Wilson doesn't have anybody as good as Davante Adams. Carson Wentz doesn't. See, this is the thing when you're passive-aggressive and don't get along with people. It's always everybody else's fault. And Green Bay said, nah, receivers are good enough. Bruh, they're good enough. Now, the interior of the offensive line, we don't think that's good enough. We're going to get you another running back. But you wanted a new coach, and you got one. And the new coach is saying you're going to be Jimmy G more than Patrick Mahomes. That's what they're saying. Because these teams tell you, and this is Matt LaFleur's fingerprints are all over this draft. Because this is the offense he likes. It's not dependent. It can win with Ryan Tannehill. It can get to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think it's very interesting. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers last year, 24th in completions, 11th in yards, 10th in touchdown passes, 12th in QBR. That's with a clever offensive coordinator, one of the better NFC running backs than Aaron Jones, Jimmy Graham, and Davante Adams. That's not good enough. You're not Mahomes. Those days are over. Got a new coach. Numbers went down again. So it's not just they drafted Jordan Love. It's not just they went heavy on a blocking tight end. I mean, go look at their picks. Running back, blocking tight end, interior lineman. They don't think Aaron can match up in the fireworks shows, and they don't trust him. It's not about that. They don't. Nah, we're not going to win that way. We don't think we can win that way. We think Matt LaFleur and the GM think we can win pounding the football, go 49ers. That's what their draft said. A blocking tight end, a running back, and 3 interior offensive linemen. And no wide receiver. They tell you what they think in these drafts, and Green Bay told you what they think of their quarterback. Injuries, getting a little older. He's not Mahomes. Let's run the football more. Play action pass, better than dropping back to pass. Pretty obvious what they're saying. Okay, let me shift to this. I think draft grades are ridiculous. Last year, all the experts gave the Raiders the worst draft grade. They had the best draft. But media people are mostly followers, so since your rival does it and your coworker does it, you do it. I don't, and I haven't for a long time. If you just want to go on just, draft picks and you want to try to guess if 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round guys and undrafted free agents are going to hit, be my guest. But the accuracy on that is absurdly low. No, what I try to do every year on this Monday is I take your free agent acquisitions. That means guys already in the league. I know what they can do and what they can't. And your top 2 to 3 draft picks. Because the hit rate is much higher in a first, second, and an early third-round pick than a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Even the GMs I like and I talk to are like, late 4th round, you're crossing your fingers. After that, who knows? So there's 4 teams I consider off-season as one big grade. Your free agents, who'd you lose, who'd you gain, and what did you get in your first few picks? And there's 4 teams to me that get an A. Tampa Bay is the first. Tom Brady, yeah, I'd say that's an upgrade at quarterback. Then I thought they got the best offensive lineman at the best spot, 13, Tristan Wirfs. Then they get a starting safety and a running back from the SEC. Maybe you've noticed those guys usually work in this league. This offense is better today. Brady, Gronk, a starting safety, a starting right tackle, and probably a starting or a backup running back. Tampa Bay gets an A. Secondly, Denver Broncos. I thought they had a great offseason. A.J. Bouye at corner, fantastic. Jarrell Casey, an underrated and productive defensive lineman, fantastic. Melvin Gordon, fantastic. And they went and got 2 really talented wide receivers, including my favorite, Jerry Jeudy, and they got a starting center out of LSU and a starting corner out of Iowa potentially. Denver had a massive offseason. A very good offseason. 4 to 5 new starters. If Drew Lock can play at all, this is a really interesting football team next year. I'll give another A to the Indianapolis Colts. I thought they nailed it. Free agency, DeForest Buckner will be their best defensive lineman. They get Phillip Rivers, only for a year, but a much better fit with that offensive line than the previous quarterback. Then, I don't think I've ever met a GM who I knew wanted 2 star players in the second round and got both of them. Jonathan Taylor now with Marlon Mack is an A-plus backfield. Jonathan Taylor's feet and speed are A++. And then Michael Pittman, who he had targeted. Ballard texted me 6 months ago on Michael Pittman. They also went and got a guy that'll start at safety from Utah and their future quarterback in Jacob Eason. It won't start next year, but in 2 or 3. Big arm guy who needed an O-line. He's a perfect fit. That's an A. In the final A, the Cleveland Browns. I thought they had a great offseason. They got a starting right tackle in Jack Conklin. They got another weapon for Baker Mayfield and Austin Hooper. And then I thought they got the best offensive lineman in Jedrick Wills from Alabama, a starting safety potentially, and a couple of defensive players. I thought the Cleveland Browns solved every dilemma they had. Right tackle, left tackle, they need another safety, and what do you know? Another weapon from Baker. So the 4 teams to me, big picture, that get A's. Tampa Bay, Denver, Colts, Browns. Those are A's. I'm not going to sit here and guess what your 6 rounders are going to do. Who knows? Half those guys don't make the team. Everybody, Minnesota gets an A. And how do you know what 5, 6, 7 round guys are going to do? I don't. Last year, everybody said the Raiders draft was terrible. It was fantastic. Now, to the one lousy draft. People sometimes are afraid to say this, but they need to. Belichick's lousy at the draft. Patriots get an F. Patriots draft, Just say it. 7 different graders gave the Belichick Patriots a B. You didn't watch any of those guys outside of the Michigan Wolverine players even play. So let me ask you, is the league becoming a playmaker league? I think it's fair to say, who won the Super Bowl? Kansas City. Yeah. San Francisco, Kansas City had some playmakers. New England has no playmakers. All their picks, they didn't get a single playmaker. They didn't get offensively faster. Aren't they one of the slowest offenses? They lost Tom Brady. Their answer was not drafting a quarterback, getting Brian Hoyer. You tell me. This is a franchise. Mel Kiper gave nobody worse than a C. Pro Football Focus only banged on one team. Why can't we just say it? New England doesn't draft well. They don't. The draft, they got Tom Brady in. That was the great draft, right? The other 9 picks in that draft couldn't play. They got a guy named Jeff Marriott. He vanished. He was positionless. He's the Kaiser Soze of draft picks. Nobody knows where he went. He literally had no position. I looked it up this morning. I looked up his NFL career. It's like he never existed. They had 9 other picks outside of Brady. None could play. Why did Tom Brady leave? They don't have weapons. They didn't get one in the draft. I thought it was really cool that Belichick had his dog sitting at the table. Awesome. Fun optics. I don't care. They lost their kicker. A star kicker. They went cheap on a kicker. They lost 2 very productive linebackers, a Hall of Fame quarterback. The only thing they signed in the free agent period was Marquise Lee, a wide receiver that can't stay healthy. Just say it. They don't draft well. They haven't had a Pro Bowler on offense drafted since Gronk. He's now out of the city and a 1 year from being out of the league. This is why Brady left. They can't get weapons. You look at their draft pick. It's a bunch of defensive guys that will disappear into Belichick's system. Where did they get athletic offensively? Because now they got Jared Stidham. He's not exactly Lamar Jackson. He's not exactly Russell Wilson. He's not exactly Patrick Mahomes. He's not exactly Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz. He's not Matt Ryan, Jared Goff. I don't think he's Matt Stafford. You got him no weapons. So just say it. They're not good at the draft thing. Great. There's great businesses have holes. I thought New England's draft stunk. God, we really need some dynamic playmakers. You know, because Kansas City's got 11 of them. Let's not address it. Okay. Great. Super duper. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.